What an amazing way to open up tonight. What a crescendo from this original piece written by Oliver, one of the teens in this performance. I am so excited to welcome you all tonight. My name is Alicia Adamson, and I serve as the executive director here at the Teen Center. In fact, we are live from the Teen Center. Can you believe that? Many thanks to all of you for showing up tonight on Zoom. You could be any place else, this great weather, but you're here with us tonight, and we promise to excite you and inspire you in our mission. And most of all, I want to thank our teens. If you're on this Zoom, you are the reason why we are here tonight, and we're very excited to present tonight's program to you.
Good evening. I'm Paul Epstein, one of the co-founders of the Brookline Teen Center with my amazing wife, Saskia. And Alicia, can I just say to you how thrilled we all are to have you leading the Teen Center into its next chapter. It would really be hard to imagine a more challenging first 9 months on a job than you've gone through, but you've handled a really difficult set of circumstances with a steady hand and a clear vision, and you've got us really well positioned and ready for relaunch. It's exciting. And I also have to say, it's now obvious to me why Donovan, who happens to be our resident BTC stand-up comedian, he's a sophomore, why when he met you, he tagged you with the nickname Double A, Alicia Adamson, after he witnessed your boundless energy.
Thank you, Paul. I love that name, Double A. You're right. It has been amazing, and I've labeled it beautifully hard to juggle the pandemic in one hand and the challenges of our organization in another. But there is a silver lining to all of this. One of the things that the pandemic did for us is it helped us to have a purposeful pause. Our purpose right now is to show up for all teens. And I want to send a special thank you to all of our sponsors who are on the Zoom right now. Thank you for showing up tonight, our donors, supporters, all the parents and school leaders, everyone who is connected in this town. Thank you for showing up. The need from this pandemic has made things deeper, greater, and wider. And our purpose tonight is to talk to you about why the BTC is relaunching. We want to better position ourselves to serve our mission with greater accountability, and most importantly, to affirm the future and the hope of our teens. Equipped with the right staff and the right programming at this right time, I am so grateful that we are in the right community to do this work together. Our families, our schools, and community institutions working together in Brookline to show up for the teens who need us the most feels so right. I'm so excited to welcome some of our friends to tell you a little bit more about this.
So the Teen Center is all about providing a platform for teens who don't even know necessarily how to find or pursue their ideas. This is the place where they come to and they get activated, where they realize like, oh, this thing that I never knew I could do, I can do this here. And they get support from the staff. They get a place to work, resources to do it, and they get to be with other teens who share those interests.
I have a junior at the high school who's been enjoying and using the Teen Center for years, but what brought him here was the love of music and playing in a band with some of his buddies. He had done piano lessons all through middle school and found himself with a handful of friends starting to create a band. So as they practiced in the backyards and basements of their friends' houses, kind of were lacking a bit until someone suggested we give a try at the Teen Center. And the best thing was they connected with Wes here at the Teen Center and really learned how to be a band and how to layer their instruments and work together and even consider recording and working in the studio to do that work.
My name is Doug Tuttle. My son is Beckett Tuttle. He is a freshman in Brookline High School currently. We originally came to Chestnut Hill about 2 years ago, And our son was in middle school, at the end of the middle school, at the end of his middle school career. And it was kind of a challenge for him to find new people. We had him join a couple of sports and a couple of activities after school, but it was still kind of a challenge. It was a Teensgiving activity over Thanksgiving. And this was really great because it was at a time when he was really kind of down and he hadn't really connected with his friends from his old school. And he was able to meet a kid that he kind of connected with. They had some of the same interests. And it was the first time in a long time that he kind of brightened up just from seeing somebody face to face. And he hadn't had that for a while. And that was just amazing. We actually peeked around the corner and just to see how he was interacting, because he was kind of pushing kids away. He wasn't really interacting socially a lot. So we saw him sitting there at the table, just talking to somebody. And we just kind of got giddy just from that experience, just seeing him do that.
It's kind of like a community within a community, whereas kids can come here and see this space as a new home or a second home, which I actually felt like for years before, and I still do now here as an employee.
So having the opportunity to come to the Teen Center, which is just across the street from the Pierce School, to take a moment just to relax, relate, release to one another and to other caring adults that are here in the building means a lot. And it's a good safe space and safe place for our young people. And as a school leader, I'm very thankful to have this as a resource that is so close to the Pierce School. We really see this as an extension of our school campus and are very thankful to the staff who have welcomed us with open arms and who also provide really thoughtful, meaningful, and relevant programming for our young people.
It's great to see some of the faces of the adults that work at and support the Teen Center. Many of you know that the BTC was largely conceptualized and designed by teens. And I think back to that project, the early stages, when we reached a point where, hey, this was really going to happen. We were going to have a Teen Center. We reached a point where we had to have a conversation about staffing. Now, this is when I slowly began to realize that these kids did not want any adults at this Teen Center working there. And they were saying things like, can we just kind of have the upperclassmen work there and they can run the place? And I was saying things like, no, that is not going to happen. This is not Lord of the Flies here. But we did come to an understanding, we did, and make no mistake, the parents, the youth workers, the other adult stakeholders, these are key and vital ingredients in our recipe for high impact and trajectory changing interventions in the lives of our members. We believe in using any and all adult supports and resources around to bolster our teens and in supplementing and plugging gaps for kids who find them lacking.
I agree, Paul. I think it is evident that this community is working together to take care of one another, which is why I am so excited to talk about our next speaker, our guest speaker tonight. Many people in this community know this speaker as a famous person, but I want to talk a little bit more about the other hats that our guest speaker wears: husband, son, community member, yes, a Brookline High alum, an actor on Broadway, but most of all, a BTC friend. And I was so excited to join a Zoom a couple of weeks ago with him and 4 of our teens, Kazi, Valencia, Elliot, and Thomason, to talk about what they've been feeling during this pandemic. And what I can tell you, as the care and the concern that he showed for our teens was outstanding. It made me feel so good about the numerous community leaders that are showing up for our teens in the way that we are asking this community to show up tonight. So without further ado, I'll let you see for yourself.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Nick Walker. I'm an actor, I'm a Broadway guy. Did that show about the founding fathers who rap a lot and fight each other in duels. I'm a giant nerd. I have my "This Is the Way" t-shirt on. Don't know if you can see that. If you don't know that reference, I can't help you. You gotta talk to your kids, get Disney Plus, watch The Mandalorian. It's probably the best show out there. I'm a writer. I'm a guy who just went through a pandemic while having some anxiety and ADHD and asthma all combined. And most importantly, I'm Brookline High, class of 2006. My God, I am old. It is always such a pleasure to do anything that gets me back in contact with my roots, back with the Brookline community. Brookline was the most wonderful place for a teenager to grow up. My mind and my soul and my art and my love of people and community was so fostered by Brookline and Boston in general. And I miss it every day. There's truly not a day that goes by that I don't think about how lucky I was to grow up in the town that I grew up in. And crucial to that town is a little place called the Brookline Teen Center. And I wanted to talk to you guys about it because, obviously we are here to celebrate it and enjoy what it has done. But I wanted to talk to you about what I know it can do, what I know it's doing. When I was a young man in Brookline, I was actually afraid of community. Community was something that very much, it was very strange for me because I was a young Black man growing up in a very white town, and I didn't know exactly where I fit in. And I felt that I had to put on different masks. I felt that I had to be different things to different people. There was no grounding for me. And so while Brookline taught me all these things about community and family and connection and loyalty, it was not without cost. It was not without a journey to find myself as a young Black man in this town. So how amazed am I when about 2-3 weeks ago, I get on a Zoom with some amazing young people who are growing up in Brookline right now, Elliot, Casey, Valentia, and T, who are all amazing members of the Brookline Teen Center. And I'm just able to see how centered all these kids are. Between the four of them, I mean, you have some truly brilliant minds. I mean, I said it in the Zoom when I talked to them, but I'll say it to you. These kids are casually saving the world. You have two amazing young people who created a theater program, the Spotlight Theater Program, in the middle of all of this madness. You have people who are making space for LGBTQIA plus community and for the Black community and for all marginalized communities. All of this happening within the walls of BTC. And if that doesn't tell you why this place needs to stick around, I don't know what does. What I love about Brookline is a town that is constantly challenging itself, a town that is constantly trying to find the next level of open space, of safe space, and of creative space. And when you have children like, they're not children, I'm so sorry, when you have amazing minds, young minds like the ones that I was able to talk to, that's the only thing you can do, is show up for them, is be there for them, is rise to their level. BTC allows for these young people to have that space where they can try and make mistakes, where they can take big swings, where they can speak up and speak out and act out without the consequence that so often befalls these young people when they do. How amazing is it to have a space where this kind of energy is not only cultivated, but is needed? BTC thrives on the minds of these young people that I met and all others like them. I can't tell you how lonely it was in Brookline. And that's with all the wonderful things I said about it. It was still lonely. My goodness. So you're telling me now that there is a space that has been there, it was there when I was there, but continues to be there to provide community and a launching pad for these ideas and platforms and campaigns. There's nothing that is worth losing that. That is the foundation of everything. I'm so excited to watch where these young people go. I truly was blown away by everything they said, but more just so happy that they had a place like BTC that could help cultivate all of that spirit. We need that spirit. That's what's going to save us. So please, please give what you can, give generously. Please continue to support this amazing, amazing center for these incredible kids. Have a wonderful day.
I need the teen center.
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 I need the teen center because I need a place where I can feel safe in Brookline and be supported by people like Alicia and Wes who are going to push me to think bigger and to just dream.
Like I never had that one adult that you could turn to when you were struggling, and here I found like 2 or 3 of them. And I think that's really extraordinary how like these adults who are usually so mystified to the eyes of teenagers can like have that camaraderie.
I need the teen center because I want to meet people who like the same things as me and look like me and just are good people. And it's really hard to do that when you're, especially when you're a minority in a predominantly white town.
I know from the program that I was able to co-found actually during COVID, which never would have been able to happen at all without the teen center. And that sort of served since like the lockdown started in the spring as a thing that's been keeping me going the whole time.
When I first came here, Alicia labeled me as an activist, and she also told me that I should start a podcast, which is something I've never even thought of before, and something that no one has ever really put so much faith in me to actually have something that would be my own, which is unstructured and that I could design every week, and something I've been thinking a little bit more about.
It really is like a little family within the teen center.
I think for me, it's really helped me, start my social justice work. For example, we started a program called SOME, where we talk to middle schoolers about, race, racism, and identity, and really build that backbone for those middle schoolers. So when they go to high school, where they're more exposed to these issues and social injustices, they already have that backbone, and they can really, thrive off that.
We have this sort of saying in the theater world, say yes to your scene partner. And it basically just means if someone has an idea, take it and run with it, try to boost them up and make it work. And the Teen Center has definitely done that for so many people I know.
Seeing those teen faces and hearing their amazing voices takes me back about 15 years when I spent a summer traipsing around Brookline with a merry band of teen interns, and we were raising money and awareness and taking the very first baby steps on a journey that had a, in retrospect, laughably ambitious goal, which was to create Brookline's first and only teen center. At the time, an older friend of mine who also was a Brookline High grad, he sent me a clipping from a yellowed and ancient Sagamore, which is Brookline High's newspaper, and it had the headline, Teenage Center for Brookline Sought by Committee, 1968. We hoped it wouldn't take another 40 years to make it happen. And at the time, I remember joking that it was like that old Seinfeld episode, the one where Kramer gets an intern. Suddenly I had 24, and we schemed up a charity basketball tournament. We filmed vines, if you remember those, vines that we hoped would go viral. We met with the movers and the shakers in Brookline's public and private sectors. Little did we know, but we were foreshadowing and replicating the very traits and skills that we hoped future teens would come to absorb and practice and exemplify at the teen center. Those original interns, they're parents and professionals now. And my own daughter and son, Annika and Ezra, they were sucking pacifiers and wearing onesies that summer. Now they're starting their BHS journeys of their own. And the teen center, like Annika and Ezra, is firmly ensconced in its own adolescence. One of my favorite pre-pandemic memories and moments happened every day at Brookline High School, 115 Greenhouse Street at around 3 p.m. It was the daily kinetic exodus of students from classrooms into the hallways, and I would go out and hear the chatter. What do we want to do? Where do you want to go? And the answer often, let's go to the teen. I love that, and I still love it. They called it the teen center. And like those kids, and like Annika and Ezra, and like every other teen in Brookline, the teen center itself has suffered all of the slings and arrows of the pandemic over the last 15 months. What happens to a place whose entire existence, whose very raison d'etre is to bring young people together, when suddenly gathering is forbidden and isolation becomes the norm? Well, two things happen actually. Our dedicated bare bones staff pivoted to remote programming, and our amazing dynamic new leader, Alicia, leveraged the pandemic pause to completely reimagine and refocus our programming. Alicia is ushering in a new era of enhanced teen center impact. We're calling it BTC 2.0. And if I had time to list the vast array of programmatic ideas and the recentering of our philosophical underpinnings that are underway, I do so. But suffice it to say, I haven't been this excited about the goings-on at 40 Aspinwall since our magical ribbon cutting in 2013.
Well, Paul, the magic is simple. People and resources. I am committed to hiring the best staff to ensure that we provide programming that is on time. It resonates with what the teens need. Already, since I've been here, joining back in August, our teens have challenged me to do more, to respond. Rohan has asked me to be brave around social and racial justice. Elliot asked me to create affinity groups to make sure that BTC is a more inclusive environment. Claire, she petitioned me to make BTC and Brookline safe for all teen girls. And Naomi, she inspired me to create a path for dreams to come true, whether that dream is college, career, or beyond. This pandemic, as you said, has been like a big hill that we have to climb. And I was so inspired by our US Poet Laureate, Amanda Gorman, that I wanted to share that as we are climbing and Brookline is filled together with it seems like obstacles are in our face, no end in sight, there is. And I want to share this snippet from the quote that she spoke at the inauguration. We will rise from the golden hills of the West. We will rebuild, reconcile, and recover. The new dawn blooms as we free it. For there is always light if only we're brave enough to see it. If we're only brave enough to be it. Brookline, let's be brave. today. Because we all need the Teen Center to relaunch and reopen this summer for our teens. So I invite everyone on this Zoom tonight. I've already seen in the chat that you're already inspiring each other to give, and we appreciate your giving. Every gift counts. Before this Zoom tonight, we reached a little over 50% of our goal. But I believe that after tonight's program, that you will be inspired to be brave and to show up for our teens and help us reach our goal for this evening. It's $50,000, but I know this community can surpass that. So I invite you to join us, Paul and I, and our board and our supporters, to support this effort to reopen our doors this June. You can give by texting to give, and you should find that information in the chat. It's also coming up on the screen throughout the program, and you can also give online. And we will not turn away donations that come by mail. I want to say a big thank you again to everyone for coming tonight. We are so appreciative of your generosity, and it goes more to say that we know that this entire community is going to show up for our teens.
Thanks again, Alicia. You know, in previous years, this would be the point in the program where I would acknowledge that I'm the only thing standing in between you and your dessert and your drinks and your dancing. This year, I'm the only thing standing between you repositioning yourself on your couch, switching over to Netflix, and yelling at your team to get off the Xbox and do their homework. So I will be brief. The BTC needs your support. It's impossible now to read the newspaper or listen to NPR or spend any amount of time with a teenager without coming to the stark realization that the detrimental impact of this pandemic on teen well-being may in fact take longer to dissipate than the virus itself. If there was a team of youth work and mental health professionals working in parallel to the scientists who boldly invented the vaccine, and they instead focused on discovering an antidote to the psychological impact of this terrible year, I believe their product may have closely resembled this vital and life-changing place. There's hardly a current cultural trend or issue of import that isn't being creatively addressed somehow by our adult staff with teen guidance and input. Racial and social justice, healthy nutrition and physical fitness, building pathways to academic and vocational success, combating isolation and building community. It's all happening here. But the scale of our impact is largely dependent on the generosity of you, our neighbors and friends. I would love to close out this evening with an overwhelming show of support. So would you consider making a gift by text or hopping on our website to make a generous donation? And I know I speak for you, Alicia, when I say that you and I would love to sit down with any community member that's interested in talking to us and getting involved in a more meaningful way. So thank you for your support. Until next time when we can host you here, I wish you a good evening and hang on for one more incredible musical performance from our teens.
Up, down, up high, feeling so alive I can't close my eyes. Trust me, no lie, I'll take you higher than the plane outside. And I can't even cry tomorrow outside. No trust, no love, you make me paranoid without control. Can't touch no more, all the things you said to me without remorse. Can't even go outside, you're always on my mind. Can't help myself, no lie, no lie.
Yeah. Don't know if all this be worth it. I ain't no artist, I hide no curtains. Was gonna pour my heart out, but that makes me nervous. Guess that's why I never made that cut. Found some better ways around it, now I feel it in my gut. Ain't gonna settle for no less, I want more, ayy. Been that way since I opened up that door. Feel that breeze on my face. I just know I'm gonna soar and I take the weight off me. I take the weight right off me. The weight right off me. Take the weight off me. Take the weight right off me. The weight right off me.